All right, we are back. Sorry, network was actually bad. We had to be, we had to go out for some time. We're just introducing the class. So back to sharing the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay. So we're back. Like I said, we're looking at biological community, and we're going to look at the different types of biological community we have. Yeah, communities are population of many species of organisms living together in the same habitat or environment. And as we know, habitat varies. It could be terrestrial and it could be aquatic, or it could be atmospheric. So these are the different types of habitats. And these habitats also influences the types of organisms living in this community. So we shall be looking at what makes up these communities, types and structures of this community. That is what we shall be looking at. And our co-evolution, which is a process of different kinds of organisms adjusting to one another by genetic changes over a long period of time. Now, these are the types of biological communities we have. We have the terrestrial community, we have the ocean community, and also the freshwater community. I know what you would have asked is why are we breaking ocean to freshwater? I would have just sum it up as aquatic community. Yes, one fact still must be understood is that these two communities are not same. Um, the ocean community, or what we know as the marine community, determine the salinity level in terms of the organisms that are found in them. The other one, which is the freshwater community, also determines, because of the salt level, determine the kind of organisms that are found in them. So the terrestrial community are majorly terrestrial organisms which have been structured because of the climate, because of the rain patterns. And you can see them in different locations, whether in the tropic or in the temperate region. Terrestrial communities sometimes are also called biomes, and they're easily recognized by the appearance and characteristics of these regions. Classified probably by general features such as the vegetation. Vegetation patterns determines these different communities, these different terrestrial communities. And these vegetations do overlaps one another as they spread around. And in our later classes, we're going to look at the different biomes, different terrestrial communities that we are talking about. The next is the ocean, or sometimes what we know as the marine community. And it is noted that about 3/4 of the Earth's surface, 3/4, you can imagine, is covered by ocean or marine water. And a great weight of nutrients and biomass are present in the world's ocean, particularly in the warm coastal region of the earth, where you have so much of planktonic, organisms in this zone, whereby about 40% of the world's photosynthetic productivity is estimated to occur in the ocean. Notwithstanding, an estimated 90% of living species of organisms are terrestrial, although representative of almost every phyla occur in the sea. That's its a general characteristics of this ocean community. Ocean community, as we know, have physical and chemical characteristics that determines the kind of organisms that are found there. For the freshwater community, very little of the Earth's water is stored, in fresh water or in ponds or in rivers or other lakes. The freshwater habitats are quite different from marine and terrestrial, but they are quite limited also in area. You can't compare the freshwater community with that of the marine community or the ocean community. The inland lakes covers just about 1.8% of the Earth's surface and running water covers about 0.3%. Imagine how small it is as compared to what you have in the marine environment. So all freshwater habitats are strongly connected with terrestrial ones, where you have the swamps, where you have the wetlands. And there's always interconnectivity with terrestrial communities of organisms and that of the fresh water. So ponds and lakes have 3 zones. We have 3 zones in which organisms occur. We have what they call the littoral zones, which is the shallow area of this water body. We have the limentic zone. Limentic zone, it's just a well-illuminated surface where you have a sun ray striking and so much of the planktonic organism that are found in this region. We have the profunda rays, the zone rather, is just below the limit where light penetrations are found. So these zonations also determines organisms, whether they are pelagic and also whether they are benthic. So the structure of the community, as we just see, it's a known fact that despite the diversity in the structure, both of these communities are affected by biotic and abiotic factor. And one of the abiotic features is the water situation, where the physical environment in marine is marine, freshwater, marsh, salt, desert, and so on. So, but then mineral nutrients, geology, topography of the environment are also factors that affect the structure of this community. The abiotic factor or features help to describe the overall form of communities, which is usually determined by vegetation in terrestrial communities. Plants, as we know, have various growth forms. See, we have plant trees which create forest or woodland community, bushes which dominate with shrubs, herbs, and grasses. And these are the major types in grassland, like in savanna, as we know. So the overall structure of a community, it's determined by a combination of features such as the physical environment, the community size, the longevity of species present. Even a recently developed community may contain just a few species, and the number will just increase as more species invade and get established in this community. The species richness of a community is also influenced by features of the community, including the age of the community, its primary productivity, the form of the organism present, and their competitive ability. So a community may be stable and also may be unstable. It will be high with productivity and it also can be low with primary productivity. So all these are the dynamic features or processes that occur in all the different or all the 3 communities that we'll talk about. So Conclusively, on this point, we have seen that community is indeed an integrated group of species which occur together in common environment or habitats. And we're also seeing that communities are influenced by co-evolution and are continually evolving and changing through time. So interaction between organisms within a community have arisen out of the evolutionary history. Many different organisms interact and determine the structures of the community. Country structures are determined by abiotic and biotic factors, just as we just mentioned. And we also mentioned that the species richness of a community is influenced by its age, its primary productivity, the form of the organism present, and their competitive ability. Now to our class activity, if you have been able to follow. So what's the difference between community and population? Giving you guys 2 minutes or so to be able to differentiate what is the difference between community and population. All right, open you guys have been able to pen something down regarding what to understand by community and population. I want to move now to our next point. Let's talk about the biomes. Yes, what is biomes? These are areas of ecological similar characteristics, appearance, community of plants, animals, and soil organisms. Biomes are defined by factors such as plant structure such as the tree, the shrubs, and the grasses, leaf types, whether they are broad leaves or needle leaves, the plant spacing, whether in the forests, woodland, or savanna, and climates. Climate is a major factor which determines the distribution of terrestrial biomes. Among the important climate factors are what we know as latitude, which are in the Antarctic, boreal, temperate, subtropical, and tropical. That's the 5 latitude we have. Climate factors such as humidity. Is it humid? It's